Powerball. Jack knows everything about that.
I'll get 2 Can I get 2 quick picks for the Mega Millions with the Mega Flyer? Could get 2 draws.
Nobody at Truckies gets the Mega Player. They all get the Powerball with the Power Play.
No, my worst is they always call the Mega Player the Power Play.
Really?
What?
So it'll be like, let me get 3 of the big game with the Powerball with the Power Play. So I'll print out Powerball and they'll be
How
like,
many draws? 3. Do you want that all on 1 ticket? No. You fucking asswipe.
Get out!
I didn't want to see you today.
Kill.
Degenerates like you belong on a cross!
Take the power. What number is the 50 times on? 87. Oh no. That's bad.
Nah, that's a bad number.
They only play low numbers.
Yo, I know there's like 26 tickets left in the book, but can I get 0? No.
Nah.
Yeah, we held that one specifically for you.
You got that, Chief. All yours.
All yours. If you pay me enough money.
All of them are for you.
Also,
for you.
Also on that note, welcome to the shitposting hour.
Yay! Yeah. Let me push my chair in.
You're pushing what in?
Fascinating.
Interesting.
The audience has no idea. And I don't either, actually, I'm going to be honest. I'm just bullshitting.
Oh, that's kind of what this show is.
So, aside from the mandatory hour... No, wait. 2 minutes talking about scratch tickets in convenience stores. Welcome. This is the... I don't even think this qualifies as a podcast. I think this is just free-form bullshitting.
No, this is a podcast. It's because it's going to be on Spotify, and we're going to ditch the footage.
Oh my God, Spotify! Oh.
Why not put it in my butt cheeks?
Foreign markets.
Raggy, foreign market. Charlie, where the fuck are you going? You're in this.
Escaping.
You're in this.
Charlie's decided he has.
Charlie's changed his mind about being in the podcast, I guess. Alrighty then, I guess.
That's what my dad said 20 years ago.
When he went to go get milk.
And he went to get milk and cigarettes.
And he never came back!
He said that all of the stores he went to were out of menthol cigarettes, so he just kept going to different states.
You know, I read a thing about that once where a dad apparently got kidnapped on his way to the store like 18 years prior. So he actually had been kidnapped and hostage when he went out for milk 18 years ago.
Nothing about that surprises me.
No.
This sounds like your average day in Philly, I'm gonna be honest.
No, that's more a Florida thing.
Why not both?
Florida man gets held
You're
hostage
right.
for 18 years.
Philadelphian migrates down to Florida, lives in like some bullshit Miami suburb.
As somebody who's been to Philly, it's Jake's.
Look up Hitchbot, people. I love showing people the pictures of Hitchbot. Now, if
Of
you're
Alfred
on,
Hitchcock?
if you're on YouTube, there should be a picture of a before and after of Hitchbot entering Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But for those of you not on YouTube,
Not
I
cultured enough.
highly recommend you go look up Hitchbot and laugh hysterically.
You know what? I'll look this up now. How do I spell this?
Hitchbot, Hitchbot. Just look up Hitchbot death and you'll see.
You'll understand.
I'm worried.
It's hilarious.
Hitchbot death. Here it is.
I'll let you guys see it before. Look up a before and after. There should be a combo image, like split page image. It's hilarious. He was stabbed, beaten with a blunt object, dismembered, and pelted with paintballs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no!
And the best part about that is the police had no idea what order they actually occurred in. So, like, he could have been simultaneously being stabbed by, like, 4 different people while being pelted with paintballs. It's hilarious.
What did I just walk into?
You don't want to know.
Hitchbot.
Just look it up.
Alfred Hitchbot presents.
Just look it up. You won't regret it.
So, do we actually have a plan for what to talk about? You know, we could talk about the new set spoilers, but that's boring.
That's exactly what we were going to talk about. For you fucking degenerates.
Boring.
Come on, an 18-6 vanilla creature?
Yargle is best CEDH commander out of this entire set. It's just true.
You
Wrong.
fucking bitch.
You absolute
Combos
destroyed our
with
mind.
Giant's Growth.
You absolute degenerate.
I want you to
I
say
feel
that
no-
sentence and then say CEDH and have all of the comment section just start exploding.
Yargle, New Yargle, Golgari Yargle, is best CEDH commander from March of the Machines. One card combo with Giant's Growth.
Yeah, but weren't you also
Instant
trying to build
win.
Chromot CDH?
Yes.
So you're invalid.
Where's the Chromat deck, Ian?
Where it at?
Where it at?
I gotta
I like
bring
how
it. I
nobody's
gotta put it
mentioning
together.
the degenerate
I have a
deck I'm
list.
building.
Fucking do it.
Yeah, it's because we're talking about the set spoilers.
So, yeah, not a CEDH commander. Also, does Steve have any duct tape so we can get rid of this
Yeah, I'll duct tape
for the next
ceiling.
30 minutes?
How about
thinking
you?
about-
Steve's a wrestler. He can just deal with Ian.
That's also.
But I don't cause enough of a problem for him to actually do it.
Batista,
Oh, we can tell him what you just said.
He'll
will
agree with
understand
me.
Completely. No, he won't. Not even a
Batista
little.
bomb through the table.
Through the table.
Batista bomb.
All right, so I
I'm
don't
pulling up
have
the-
them pulled up in front of me.
I'm about to go pull
I
him up
had
right
them
now.
pulled up, actually.
Oh, do you?
Let's
I
do
do.
it. Let's
Alright.
all take a look at these.
Yeah, I had them pulled up right here.
Together forever.
Yeah, first one I had was a Yargle. Right? Fairy
And
Mastermind.
Okay, why on God's green earth does that card not at least have reach?
Yeah.
Because Yargle never did.
So right now,
But he's on top of fucking Multani.
yeah.
It's
Tree-
Yargle and Multani.
So
Tree Frog
So why is
make
it-
big
I got a better
slam.
question. Why isn't it 18-6? Why isn't it like a 6-star or like a star type? You know, because Multani.
So which one are we starting with?
So I have Fairy Mastermind up right now.
Is that the one that's just worse Ledger Shredder?
In
Yes.
my opinion, yes. It's just worse Ledger Shredder.
Well, so we have a running joke that everything is good with infinite mana. I think that card definitely applies.
They sure
true.
do.
It's good with infinite mana. Like most things, it's good with Isochron Scepter and Dramatic Reversal.
I mean, Flash Flying, like that's, yeah, stable, yeah. The Flash is solid.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card.
I mean, no.
And that's kind of not it.
And
Because when you think about it, right? Ledger Shredder is whenever a player casts their second spell. That's just so much better.
Well, I
true.
think I don't know, but
You want
I think
redundancy.
the card advantage. I mean, Ledger Shredder's not card advantage; it's card selection.
That's card selection.
This is card advantage. I think it depends on how nitpicky you're feeling, because just run both.
Honestly,
that's what I had said before.
No, honestly, no. Here's the thing. You do want redundancy, yes, but at the end of the day, this ain't it. Simply because 4 mana, each player draws a card. First off, you're giving your opponents the ability to draw cards. That's supremely not it.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, Ledger Shredder, yes, is more selection than advantage, but at this, it's kind of both in a way, right? Because you're digging through your deck to get your answers rather than just.
I just thought of this though. I think there might actually be room for this card in a mill deck.
Really?
If you're running something like, well, Psychic
Right.
Corrosion, those mill effects when you draw cards, this might have a niche spot in those decks.
It'd be pretty niche, but I get where you're going with that, yeah.
I mean, that could be a viable win con for those decks, since, you know, they draw with you, but they're the ones milling 2 cards, like a Psychic Corrosion effect. When you draw, they mill 2.
Yeah, the only problem I see with that is because you're all drawing at the same time, like during the in a mill style strategy, they would all draw and then mill, but even then, that's still pretty solid.
Well, yeah, and then you put one last trigger on the stack. They draw from an empty library.
Yeah. So at
This
that
is
point-
all assuming you have infinite mana. By the way,
I mean, yeah.
you have to if you want this card to perform anywhere near a high level, you have
You
to
would
put
just-
it with an ISO Rev deck.
Yeah. Honestly, yes. Because you're just at that point.
Well, yeah, but would that make the card good if you needed a very specific scenario in a specific deck to utilize it?
Well, I think too, depending on a lot of this depends on your play group and your rule zero.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I think it's better. I don't know actually. It's somewhere along, maybe a little bit weaker than Archivist Dogma.
It's weaker than
Or
Archivist,
Charlie, if you
but
want to read it and pitch in any opinion.
because with Archivist, right, it has a seat at the high power tables because of how many tutors everybody runs. Everybody's running those one drop tutors. In blue decks, you see all those merchant scrolls and
I don't. They're bad.
oh yeah, it's really bad.
Who runs one
If
drop
I-
tutors?
If I smack the table with each of my points, they seem more emphatic.
They just
Fan Tutor is bad!
yeah, but that's why you see effects like that at those higher levels and that's why I just don't see this one quite there.
Mhm.
It's just
No, it
Slightly
does. I think
lower.
have use. I mean, it does not have use in a Nimrus deck. Let's be honest.
It doesn't.
Even though it has flash.
I can think of very few decks where that really benefits.
I think it's good in. I mean, you can obviously run this also in a group hug deck and make people draw cards.
yeah, like
I suppose if you also have Shieldred out on your board, it's pretty good to force them to
But that's also
force them to
good
take
with
damage.
Mill.
yeah
Because you can run Dimir at that point. Dimir's great for Mill.
yeah even mono blue like Bruvok,
Yeah, Bruvak, Phoenix.
Phaenax, that's a classic strategy right there. He's been outclassed.
Get out your
recently.
mind, Crank. Let's go.
Even Toxrill is a weird one, but he
I'm
runs-
building a Toxtril deck. It's gonna be great.
He even runs the ISO Rev strategy in a weird.
I mean, yeah.
Weird. In a weird way. I don't know how else to really put it. It's just a. strange-
ISO Rev, and I feel like you would have to run some intermittent blink effects too.
Yeah, it's a strange that I've seen.
So yeah, card. It can see some play in very limited
niche.
strategies.
It's a niche one.
It's niche. I agree with Kyle on that.
Although, if it might be okay early. It's only a 2-drop. It could be okay early game when everyone's casting their ponders, their brainstorms, when they're
Yeah.
trying to
That's where I see it.
sculpt their hand as well in a high power pod. But after about turn 4, I don't think you're getting much use out of it.
I can agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that.
that's where about I see it. Yeah.
All right, what do we want to do next?
Catilda and Lear.
That's what I have up. Yeah.
Whenever you cast a human spell, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost.
Human Spellslinger shenanigans.
We discussed this card off camera. It's fucking horrendous.
It's-
I don't understand any
Come
of
on,
this.
new meta. Don't at me.
It's
I am going to at you.
honestly, I can kind of see it.
Shut up.
I can
No.
see it.
You shut up too.
I don't
You'll-
see it.
No,
You'll
I'm
probably
just saying.
Even Charlie doesn't see it.
I don't see it's a big deal.
No,
It sucks.
That's
here's the thing. I'm not saying like it's not going to be at the level of say what's a really supreme band. Like it's not going to be True Lane, right?
It's
Actually, the most
Lane or
what-
the Revi.
the most popular band commander is not Shulane, which I was surprised by.
That is insane.
I don't remember. Let me look it up. Because
Like
Well, the problem is, don't most human decks go for a more beat face approach?
they go. Well, no, they have more tribal synergy, and yeah, they win through combat and going wide mostly. They don't really go tall.
that's why this says specifically human. But here's the thing, right? Do you understand just how many humans there are.
525,000.
The most popular Bant commander by like almost 4,000 decks is according to the numbers on EDH Rec. So we don't.
So an invalid source.
I don't use deck lists from there, but it does give
It's
a
pretty
decent
solid.
idea of what people are playing.
Yeah, I agree with
It's
that.
Arcades, the
Really?
strategist,
That's a
Actually, that does make sense. That
not
checks.
not the original one.
Yeah, I figured you were talking about the Walls commander. That
Yes.
checks. That
Yep.
checks.
Arcades walls, and then right behind Tulane is Galea, the precon one with the auras.
Yeah,
With the
That
horse?
That sounds
just,
about right.
that just one shots people,
That sounds-
and it's
yeah,
hilarious.
That sounds correct.
I also
No,
like
the
horse.
reason I say this one actually makes sense. Think
Yo,
about it.
hold up, tag Ian's girlfriend in that clip.
Cards like
Don't you
Myro,
fucking-
cards like Myro, cards like Esper Sentinel, cards like a Grand Abolisher, all humans.
I was
You don't think about how many cards, creature cards specifically, in the higher level metas are actually CEDH.
Correct, but I also think that you're in Bant first. You're really limited in the amount of really good instant and sorcery spells you can play because you're not in Grixis.
You
where-
may not be in Grixis, but you're also in Civic. You're in the Civic colors.
Yeah, what are you gonna flashback your growth spiral?
well. Here's what I see.
You've heard of Angel's Grace,
You-
but how about Second
You
Angel's
somehow
Grace?
What I see is flashing back your finale of Devastations.
Oh.
I could see this.
That's
You,
what I see.
This is your 40-minute warning, hood rats.
All right.
So I see flashing back your finale Devastations, your card draw outlets, things like that. That's what I see when I look at this commander.
So, you could also flash back your silences.
That's also
You-
a good point too.
You flash that back.
Oh.
Nobody
Wait,
can
doesn't
stop
Flashback
you.
Exile, though?
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, it does.
So you only really get one additional...
But that's how you end up winning
Well,
the game.
but here's my thing, right? Is unless
it's a
those
Stabcaster effect on your commander.
unless you're playing all of your humans at flash speed, you can only cast a silence in your turn, which, I mean, is good if you have win. It's fantastic if you have win, but it's both, you need to cast a human, so you can't cheat any humans in. It's not an into the battlefield trigger. It's an on-cast trigger, and you target something in your graveyard. It's very vulnerable still to Noxious Revivals,
Yep.
Time Twisters.
I also see this as being, strangely enough, similar to Devoted Top.
What?
No.
I don't see that one.
No. No.
No,
Just
I
no.
honestly, if you think about it, it's gonna be weird simply because you have. How would I put it? Like,
Ebola?
yes,
Pretty much.
pretty much. No, like, not necessarily like, because you have those infinite mana outlets in the same. Like, that's what I would be running as well. That's kind of what I'm getting at here, is you would have the ability to be. That's why I would be running those as well. They may not be human, but if you run something like Cavern of Souls, which is generally what you want to be running, you also want to be running something like an Emergent Zone. So that's how you would end up giving your humans spells flash speed.
You could also.
Yeah, but even still, Emergent Zone is only till end of turn.
Well,
And
so if you're running Emergent Zone, you don't intend on needing to wait.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of Emergent
You would
Zone.
end up cracking your Emergent Zone right then and there,
Mhm.
going for a win.
Or if you're a real Chad, you run Vidalcan Orrery or Leyline of Anticipation because they're 4 mana.
And since you're in blue-white,
Yeah.
one of the more better combinations for stacks, you get two kind of lockouts. You have Lavinia, Omen Pool, or Knowledge Pool, or for really any kind of white running stack, you have Dranith Ubamask.
Yeah, but
Well,
are you really
I
running
don't-
stacks in this kind of build?
No, honestly.
No.
That's just...
I mean,
You
some
could.
of the humans lend themselves towards stacks, but
Drain's
think
Magistrate.
that Drain's Magistrate, Grand Abolisher. I think Myrel is one of them.
Lavinia.
Lavinia, the Thalias.
But those, you're not running too many of those, honestly. You're
You're probably running 2, maybe 3 tops.
You're probably running Lavinia. You're probably running. You're most definitely running Myrel and
Grand Abolisher. You're probably not. You're probably running Draenith.
You're definitely running Draenith.
Definitely running Draenith.
But I don't see you running like
I don't.
Lavinia.
You don't want Thalia.
Thalias.
You don't want the Thalias. I think.
Well, especially not if you're trying to flashback your own instant sorceries, because that hurts you too.
That's true.
So this.
Wait,
My
no,
thing,
Draenith
though-
is. Never mind, I'm being
Draenith is
stupid.
opponents.
Draenith is
it's
opponents.
asymmetrical. My big thing with this card is it's so narrow. You have to cast humans. You have to flashback instants and sorceries, and it's not. You don't have the massive pool. You still have access to blue. You have all the counter magic. You have Path to Exile, Source to Plowshares. You have access to even Solitude in this deck.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a human, you can still do some
can
stuff with
evoke it.
Solitude. Yeah, you can evoke Solitude. And you have Nature's Claim. Nobody runs Beast Within. Well, some people run Beast
Some
Within.
people run Beast Within, but that's more mono green these days.
So you're not. I mean, yeah, you still have Veil of Summer, but overall, though, I think it's not enough to really compete.
It's not too high up there, but honestly, I find that it's still in the high power pods, in my personal opinion. But is it CEDH? Not quite.
I can see it more in the 99 than I can see it as the commander.
99.
I don't.
I see it as a commander. I don't see it as a 99. I see it as a commander. High power.
I do as well.
Well, like I said, I see it in
I
the.
can see it as
Well, here's the thing. I'm not really sure about the commander, but I can definitely see it in the 99. It's purely because, like I said, human tribals are traditionally trying to win off of kicking the shit out of you. They're usually going for the beat face approach. So at that point, you're not going as heavy into your instant sorceries.
But that's
so
why
I can see it more utilized as a utility piece rather
No.
than.
But is that not why you run Myrel, though?
The good part about this card, though, is it does not only trigger once per turn.
You got me there.
So, if you want to cast all of your overruns, your Triumph of the Hordes, and go through people, then you do have access to that, but you're also heavily reliant on drawing into humans.
You also have your protection outlets, too, with things like your Mother Runes and such.
Mother Runes, Giver of Runes.
I will say
Scrub
this.
even, too.
The spell is wicked nice for being able to double your one drop tutors.
And blue
So, like,
is...
You're in white, so you get access to Enlightened Tutor.
Well, yeah.
However, then you get to go ahead and do it again.
Blue's
also-
blue's also good for
You can also give
evasion.
it protection
It sure
using
is.
but
Heroic Intervention?
not.
It's just
you
a
can give it
really
protection from black using
solid color combination
I
here,
forget
because you get the card.
At that point, though, you're
you
just
get
run-
the evasion.
White Knight.
You
At that point, though, you're just running Heroic
kinda just
Intervention.
get a
yeah,
little bit of
that's
everything
true.
here.
Um,
Oddly enough.
I see it being a very spicy, fun deck to play in sort of that middle 6 to 7, maybe 8 range.
Yeah, I see it as
Eight,
a higher
definitely.
power spicy deck. Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
A deck I wouldn't mind playing against because I think it
I
would
would
be
love
fun.
to see some high power brewers
But
with this.
we'll see.
I could honestly see this, surprisingly enough, as a flash human deck. Say with, like, Leyline of Anticipation.
Personally, I don't see people putting that in the 99 of that deck. I don't. Maybe
They
it's a
should,
lower power
probably.
I can see it.
Especially in those middle power pods. Oh yeah.
In the lower power pods, yeah. In the higher power pods, I don't see it. Simply
Okay.
because it's one you have to rely too heavily on. I'd take that out, throw in a Gemstone Caverns, call it a day.
This next one hits close to home for me.
Oh god.
All that.
Is it Omnath?
Omnath.
Yeah.
I ran
Oh,
for
yeah.
So I know Jack has a
Hold
bit
on.
of a cursed opinion on that one.
If you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols in its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana on any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it into your hand.
I know this has a special place in Chris's heart, and I personally love this card.
I think it'll be an interesting.
Oh, I'm gonna be the cursed one here.
I personally love this card.
It is good.
It does look good.
So I ran several different versions of 4-color Omnath for a long time.
I personally loved all the iterations of the deck.
The food chain one was the best.
It was my favorite.
Much to Ian's chagrin.
I
Ian loves
I
food chain.
truly
You
despise
love
food chain.
You love food
Then
chain.
you're gonna hate
I
my
f-
takes on this card.
I truly
So-
hate food chain.
This card is
I'm not a huge fan of food chain, but is it a good way of doing it? Yeah.
this card. So
Well, no one's a fan of food chain. They just sort of accept it.
I don't. I don't like this card. I
Really?
think it's wildly mid at best.
Wow.
So you
hot
can
take.
you can float all the mana you want.
Wow.
You know, you can save your ad
That's
nauseums.
crazy.
You don't have to hold up mana to cast ad nauseum, which is where I think this deck could really go. Except for the 3 mana symbols.
So-
Fucking
See, you
no.
didn't listen to me now.
So we have some wildly different takes here. So I think I'm going to take the reins on this one because this is not at all an Adnos commander. This is a food chain commander.
So I was figuring that's where
And
that was
not-
going because you can still
And
so
not
you
only that,
you keep
right?
the food chain mana and you make it black, but you know you can get out your Razakeths on the
Yeah.
turn following. On the next turn when you have the mana floating, your Villuses, your big splashy black creatures.
Yeah. And not
But-
only that, right? So say you were in CDH, this is most definitely a food chain commander. That's just it lends itself to being a food chain commander.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a 5-color.
No denial there.
But even in the lower power pods, this is fantastic because think about all the cards that just lend itself to black mana, Torment of Hellfire.
Oh, okay. So
Things like that.
I misread this. I think it's a little better because I thought it was 3 different colors of mana.
No.
Nope.
So you can just run your Peer into the Abyss,
Yeah.
run your Blue Sun Zenith.
Things like the unspent mana can be put into cards like.
So what I would describe this as is you have like
Helix Pinnacle is another card that could be insanely good for this.
what is it the god you don't lose unspent mana. That's not Crufix.
Crufix.
Is it? It is Crufix.
Crufix,
It is
yeah.
Crufix.
Okay.
Crucifix.
So it's like Crufix mixed with a worse, more limited Dark Confidant effect.
I think this card's amazing, honestly.
I
I'm
I
a very
disagree.
big fan of this card
I gotta disagree with that.
because I'll take it. I love this card a lot.
I also-
think this is my new favorite 5-color.
I
card.
also-
I think I jack off to this card. I love it so much.
behind Najila, right?
I'm already
This is
horny.
behind Najila. I think this is my new favorite that they printed for 5 colors.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I pull it, I'll probably run it
Yeah,
just out of principle.
I'd probably still buy it out of my rule regardless, but no, here's the thing with it, right? Yeah, it gives you an extra card every turn, and that is a nice touch to it. But at the same time, at that point where you just how slowly you're at the same time of throwing the card in your hand, Curse Opinion, you might as well just run you might have what the fuck is it called?
Dark Confidant.
Not Dark Confidant. What the commander? You might as well just run any sort of Thrasios build. You're already putting the cards in your fucking hand.
So I was watching.
Tim the Thrasios. That's what
So
I'm
I
trying
was
to think of.
funny thing, right? I was watching a video done by I don't know if anybody here else watches Rebel AI.
Sometimes.
Okay, so
don't.
you're aware of the higher power CDH commander channels.
Yeah.
She put out a video about Thrasios and Timna and why they're not as popular, not as powerful as they used to be. The main thing is Thrasios' ability costs 4 mana.
Mm-hmm.
Paying 12 mana for 3 cards ain't it. You have to rely heavily on
Your training
Your
ground.
training ground
Your
effects,
Biomancer's
your-
familiar.
you have to rely heavily on those. And these days, that's just not it. To ensure you get those cards, you have to Worldly Tutor and your Enlightened Tutors. And those are not the targets you want to get with those.
Well,
You want to try and win with and go for the big haymakers, right?
the big upside to the Thrasios activations, though, is you do potentially make back. If you're spending 12 mana, you potentially still get 3 lands off the top. They come in tapped, but you have that mana on your turn. And, I mean, you're not doing much on your own turn in Timna Thrasios decks. You're really just
You're really not.
waiting for someone else's turn or something to
But
happen.
it
But
Plus,
is
at the
also
same
a
time, you're
massive
also
heal spell.
running. You're also running shit like Kinnan that's going to make those activations cheaper.
well, no,
No.
you're just gonna have more mana.
You're gonna have more
You
mana.
get more activations by having more mana.
Yeah. Even still, that
But
gives
those
you.
are all very theoretical. You have to really think about it from the perspective of running it from the top, because you can't really think about it as like, oh, these are all cards you are running in the deck. Because if you think about it that way, then all you can just be like, oh,
Well, yeah,
Right.
but when you're building a deck, you also build it off of that being the plan that you're going to build the deck with.
well, yes, of course, but at that point, it's like, oh, I run Gaia's Cradle, so everything's just going to be, draw cards, go.
Also,
Well, no, but you also look at the circumstance of I have a Gaia's Cradle in here. It's not the key. It's not the meat and potatoes, no, but you also sort of. But it's still on the menu.
The card itself and the abilities, I think, on second look, are okay. I don't think.
I think it's better in the 99.
No. You can
Absolutely not.
absolutely not run this card in the 99.
Absolutely
No.
not.
No.
Okay, hear me out here.
I just don't see
I'm
it.
not. No.
There's,
no.
there's no hearing out here.
People whose opinions that we will not be entertaining right now. Jack only.
Oh, you mean the Wooburg player doesn't know the Wooburg shit? Fuck off.
Yes.
In this
Clearly.
instance, yes.
Apparently.
Well, no. Okay, let's say you're playing things like Wooburg Joda Tribal, right?
Because,
You're just playing out big spells off the top anyway.
because, like you said with Dark Confidant, right? This is better than Dark Confidant in a way, because you don't have to pay the life with that you would with Dark Confidant.
Yeah, but it's more it's more situational to get a really good benefit. Where you get the 3 mana, you get the card, and you can potentially cast the card with that mana, which is it's a free spell at that point.
Yeah.
There's major upside, but
There's a lot of upside here.
I just don't triggering once at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. I want to see the absolute madman who runs an extra turns deck with this.
And not only that.
Hi, that will be
I mean,
me.
Like I said, Torment of Hailfire is a card.
But from a lore perspective, I hate this card. Omnath #1 got completed. I hate that. And 2, it has nothing to do with any other Omnath besides the first one, Locus of Mana.
This might be a little cursed, but I feel like Chromatic Orrery is also gross with this. Think about it. You turn it. Normally, they're all floating black. This time, you're running it as whatever color you want. Not to mention, you're drawing 5. Presumably, you're paying 5 of it, tapping your Orrery to draw 5 cards anyway. So you've just successfully turned this ability into more value.
I mean, yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Not to mention, realistically, another card because you get 1 for your draw. You get 5 off the Orrery because you control Omnath. 1 off your draw. 1 more off of Omnath.
Nice first grip.
Yeah, you're literally grabbing a fresh grip either at the end of your turn or either at the end of your turn or during your opponent's turn.
You guys got 15 minutes.
Okay. So,
Yeah,
I
see a
think...
lot of upside with this.
So, what do we want to do next? Do we want to do this Drenna and Linvala card that I think is absolutely putrid and vile and is fantastic and going in every stacks build known to man? It is
love that card
one
so much.
double white and a black. It's a 3/4 with flying and vigilance. Activated abilities of creatures you control, your opponents control, can't be activated. And Drenna and Linvala has all activated abilities of all creatures your opponents control. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities.
If I
Hello,
were to talk
Thrasios
about
decks.
This Thrasios,
Any-
anti-Thrasios card.
Any stacks deck that can run it, I think this sees play.
You have
This is going.
Yep.
This is going in Timna Kodama, hands down.
Really, I think there's general room for this in any Orzhov deck.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It could be its own deck, but I don't.
I don't see that.
I think even if
This
you're
belongs
running
in the
more
bag.
of a creature,
That's a little shenanigans if you're running that.
if you're running more of a creature heavy stacks that build of Timna Thrasios, I think it
That's
can
why I
also
say this
go in
belongs
there.
more in Timna Kodama, because this is more creature
But
heavy.
I mean, Timna Kodama, obviously it depends on what decks you're seeing across the table. Because if there's no abilities to use,
Well, think
then
about it with-
it's just a beefy Linvala.
Well, think about it from the point of most Timna Kodama lists are win con stacks, where Timna Thrasios has multiple win cons. So this I feel has more of a seat in Timna Kodama because it just gives more benefit there. I feel like.
I mean, I think you run this card on principle anyways. You don't really want to see it in. I think you can't just throw it in a deck.
The only struggle I see with it is the double white.
The double white is not great, but I mean the abilities are nuts.
The double white.
Yeah, but I feel like it also just. I feel like the double white just balances it out a bit.
The abilities
that's a
are
really-
fantastic.
Because if it costed Orzhov in 2, it would be broken.
Why not do like
100%.
Orzhov in 4? Because this card's broken.
Well, yeah, no, but if it was Orzhov in 4, then it would just be. I think it would just be good.
So personally, as a control/stacks player, I love this card.
I love it
Very much.
Would you mind if we took a moment to talk about the new Jin-Kataxis? Because
I
that's
was
the one
just
I'm
about to
very
get to that.
stoked about.
I was just about to get to that.
3 and 2 blue. It has Ward 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. You can pay 3 and a blue, exile Jin-Kataxis, return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. Then we get to the Great Synthesis. Its other side, it is a saga. It's 1, draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size as long as you control the Great Synthesis. 2, return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. 3, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Exile the Great Synthesis, then return it to the battlefield front face up.
So, I think that this card replacing itself is absolutely nuts. Like, you just flip it back over, you draw everything, and you flip it over again, and you get temporary omniscience, basically.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just keep doing the do.
And Ward 2.
Ward
And
2
it's
just-
it's
okay,
a card
this-
draw machine.
Just
Here's
the cherry
where
on-
you're drawing at least 7, because that's what you need to transform it.
This card
Yeah.
is disgusting.
It's
I'm
pretty
also going to
gross.
emphasize this card is
I
literally
misread
just
it at first.
Ugin's. This card is literally just Ugin's ult on an emblem.
It's
You're not
gross.
It really is.
It's gross.
It truly is.
That is gross.
I don't know who was on crack in the R&D, who in the boardroom for whenever they were looking at designing this set. The only gripe I have is just say exile Jin-Kataxis. Like, why do you need to have more than 7 cards in hand? You're going to anyways. You don't even need that stipulation.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 28 cards in your hand.
It's fucking disgusting. Absolutely putrid.
The way I see it, especially with the new set that just dropped, I can see it especially in really big proliferate decks, because I'm trying to think of the name of the card, or that's one I'm digging for it now because it's in my deck.
Proliferate.
Yeah,
It counts as counters.
So this.
yeah. Shit,
I
you literally
understand
skip
that,
that second part, so you don't bounce your
Oh,
own
because
shit.
you want to skip the second part? Okay, that makes
You
sense.
automatically
Takuthal,
go to
Inquiry
omniscience.
Why would
Dominus.
you want to skip the second part, though? Because the second part...
Yeah, except you bounce your own shit. I think if you're trying to loop that, you're gonna
Yeah, but
want.
you can play it without paying their mana costs on your next turn. So you just redump your
That's
hand
why I'm
onto
like,
the
why would you
battlefield.
want to...
Well, no, because it's already. Well, no. Here's the thing, right? You cast.
I don't know, it just seems weird to skip the second portion to me.
Imagine it has read ahead.
Well, here's the thing. If you're saying use,
3.
say,
No!
I'm thinking of it with Takuthal because it lets you double proliferate. So as a result, you play Jin-Kataxis, you transform them, you draw yes cards, you activate,
you to draw
you get off your
cards.
proliferate. You activate the proliferate, goes straight to go straight to the Ugin effect. Wash, rinse, repeat. You just keep it going.
And in this sort of deck,
And
you can run it as basically, oh hey, all gins. You get to that. You get all those.
And plus, think about again how much love Proliferate got from the new set alone.
It was pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
I don't-
Poison and Proliferate were like the two big sets from the two big mechanics from the last couple of
Off
sets.
the top of my head, I don't see many decks with this as the commander, but this is a brutal 99 card.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, I can kind of see it with the Omnath we were just talking about. Don't think so.
No,
No.
not one bit.
No.
Not one bit.
Because you're relying on non-creatures at that point, and if you're going to run food chain, you're not really running a whole lot of non-creatures because you just want to cast all the big things from your deck.
Yeah.
So you're kind of losing out there. We have time for one more card.
The frog.
We'll go over
Do
Thalia
it.
and the
We'll go over the
monster.
frog.
It is
Froggy!
one an Abzan. It's a legendary creature, human frog horror. First strike and death touch. It's a 4/4. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. I love this card. I'm throwing it in some deck. I don't give a damn.
I am 100.
At first
Chris,
I
this is
kinda
group
hated
hug. I don't give a shit.
This is a hilarious card. The art is fantastic.
it. Like I said, at first I hated it, but looking at the art,
I
just
fucking love it.
It's
I really like it.
it's
Majestic.
just so beautiful. You
Look
get
at him go.
extra land drop.
It
You
really is a worse Gitrog monster, but
It's a worse Gitrog monster.
the more I look at it, I
It
just
fits.
love it.
You
I
tr-
just love it.
It's the same as that Drana and Linvala, where it fits right into Timna Kodama.
It really
And-
does.
And this fits better into a Timna Thrasios deck than I think most Timna Thrasios lists because of the land drop, extra
this
land
one
drop,
for sure fits better
and
into
the
a-
creature-based
Yeah,
hold-ups.
I agree that it fits better than say the
From
Drana.
Drana and Linvala, but this fits right into Timna Kodama.
fits
It's
beautifully.
right there.
It fits so beautifully into Timno Konama. It's not
It's
even funny.
everything that deck wants to do on one singular card for 4 mana.
Let me just grab my land from the bin from Kodama trigger.
And you know what's even better? You can just run actual Gitrog too and just value town all day.
All day, brother.
It's
great.
All
great.
day?
I love this card.
Yes.
What
And-
did we say about new material?
And with this deck, you're 100% running Ramanep Excavate.
Oh,
You
yeah.
swing, you sack a land.
But do
you
you,
get
really
the
see
land
this as a
back.
commander in of itself?
No. I see
No.
this as a 99 card.
I
There
see.
is
Agree.
no
I
way in
could
hell
see
you
this.
run this
Not-
as commander.
I think you
I don't know how
can
you-
run it as commander. I don't think it's
I don't see
your
it.
best choice.
You're
but-
literally just gonna run Timna Kodama. You have it's
You can
it's
run.
just better.
You can
Yeah.
run Timna Kodama. Obviously, it's 1,000 times better than Thalia and
Yes, and
Get frog?
no, and comment.
But
And
there,
There's nothing
there is
further.
There's no but.
there is a but here.
There is none.
Yeah, show me.
But-
Your... Yeah,
But
new
this is-
material. Fuck you.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
for
not
more.
new
that's not new.
This is
whatsoever.
for more like the fun mid to high power.
That's
levels.
kind of where I was going with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
this
if-
is a mid-power commander.
If
Yeah.
you're running
Better than the
CEDH,
99.
you're going Timna Kodama. But
Very
with mid power and
If you're
high
just looking
power,
to dick around with your buddies, I can see
Like,
this. as
I
commander.
get a copy of this card though. I'm throwing it in Kolfanor just because of the last ability and because I can. Fuck
Like,
you.
I'd love to see it.
like this
That
is
deck
perfect.
is an abomination. You will see it in 2 episodes.
Maybe.
Give or take.
I don't know what the next one is actually.
Next one is the second half of the.
So how does everybody
Oh,
feel?
okay.
As
the
of
only-
recording this, at least.
The only question I have is how does everybody feel about the Ragavan reprint
Oh,
and the Atraxa reprint?
I busted a nut.
The Atraxa reprint, I hope, is Gilded Foil. Because if it's just the showcase, I'm going to be bummed. But, I mean,
But that
the Ragavan
Ragavan-
Masterpiece reprint, you'll love to see that.
It's just
I can't wait to see a $200 Ragavan.
gorgeous.
Oh,
at
you
least.
mean like what Ragavan was when it dropped? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I need that motherfucker in my life right now.
$200 monk.
I need that motherfucker.
Give it to me! Give it to me!
Give.
I will refinance my car.
People are gonna be able. People are gonna be farming collector boosters for XP. I'm
No,
telling you
the
right
only-
now.
you need to refinance your car to get that secret layer Ragavan. Have you seen that
So-
shit?
I have.
$5,000.
Unfortunately,
Five-
we are
Yes.
kind of out of time.
Well, hold on a minute. What about Yargle and Moltani?
I ran over that.
We'll do that next episode when
What
Jack
about some
cries his
putting
eyes
squee?
out.
What
Yeah.
about the squee?
That card sucks. I don't want to hear anything different.
We'll go over more of these leaks.
We'll go over them on the next one after Jack finishes venting his depression.
I don't deserve it!
Yes, you do.
You'll find out when we get there
When we
next
get there,
episode.
yeah.
We will see you guys next week.
We will see you
Thank
on
you
the
f-
other side.
Thank you for. I know this is a funky episode, kind of short, but
We'll get
everything
there.
has to start somewhere. So thank you for joining us, and you'll see more on this wild ride. Hopefully, with more guests and our same guest from the other show. Maybe less Ian.
Probably less me.
More cringe opinions.
Well,
from
no,
me.
we can have Ian on. We just need to roll a duck.